Thank you to my fellow Antipodean, Ruth. Can I acknowledge Your Majesty, Queen Maxima of the Netherlands and UN Secretary-General Special Advocate for Inclusive Finance for Development, the Honourable Minister of Economic Planning and Development from Malawi, His Excellency the Ambassador of the Republic of the Philippines to the United States of America, Mr. Bill Gates, co-chair of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and all our other speakers, distinguished guests, excellencies present. And welcome to this event, Partnerships for Digital Financial Inclusion, a driver of inclusive growth, which is being hosted by UNDP, the UN Capital Development Fund, and the Better Than Cash Alliance. Well, we have a rather broad turnout today from across governments, private sector, civil society, development partners. It's only a little over 2 years until the 2015 date for achieving the MDGs is reached. And as everyone in this well-informed audience knows, debate about what next is well underway. The importance of promoting growth which is inclusive, sustainable and equitable is featuring largely in the discussion, but often the question remains, well, how is that going to be achieved? One thing is for sure, technologies will play a critical role, and the rapid spread of new information and communications technologies, and in particular, I submit the mobile ones, is increasingly making many more services available to the world's poorest people. Recent estimates by the ITU suggest there are already close to 7 billion mobile phone subscriptions out there, with 89% mobile cellular penetration in developing countries. Access to the mobile phone can be a game changer for the poor, particularly for those 2.5 billion adults who don't currently have access to financial services. Yet, we know such access can and does contribute to poverty alleviation, to development and to growth. With mobile technology, it is within reach. At UNDP, we've been involved with a number of initiatives which have embraced digital financial inclusion. One, following the devastating earthquake in Haiti, where we were part of an initiative which aimed to help Haitians rebuild their own homes. In a country where only 10% of the population have access to conventional financial services, but 50% do have access to a phone. So there was an innovative partnership, Government of Haiti, Digicel, and UNDP, with what I'm told is the first ever mobile money transfer mechanism for supporting post-disaster housing reconstruction. And it enabled Haitians to get access to funding for the materials they needed to rebuild their homes, with many thousands of people benefiting from the program. Another innovation was associated with the rollout of India's National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, which guarantees 100 days of employment every year for rural workers. When this was established in 2005, most of those who came into the program did not have access to financial services, which made payments to them for their work rather difficult. But responding to that challenge, the state governments in India, in partnership with UNDP, worked with local banks and the mobile phone providers to enable rural workers to open bank accounts and use their phones to access their funds remotely. And many, many millions of people have subsequently been able to access basic financial services there through their phones. We're seeing the use of other technologies too, including but not limited to prepaid cards and point-of-sale devices, opening up opportunity for greater access to financial services. Take Fiji, where through the Pacific Financial Inclusion Program, UNDP and UNCDF have been working with the Department of Social Welfare to ensure that many thousands of social welfare recipients get their benefits on time and without the long and often rather costly journeys they had to make to pick up their cash. We've worked in partnership with Westpac Banking Corporation Social welfare benefits are now distributed across Fiji through Westpac's network of branches, ATMs and point-of-sale devices. In the process, communities which previously didn't have access to banking are able to access flexible, no-fee accounts. The Department of Social Welfare says, well, now they have more time to spend on family visits and child protection. Well, they've also been able to cut their costs, reduce the number of ghost recipients, and cut fraud. Meanwhile, Westpac expanded its clientele by nearly 15% in the first few months of the scheme and extended its reach in the rural areas. So this truly was a win-win. Fiji's government has now moved on to require that all communal land lease payments, which are mostly made to rural communities, must move to an electronic platform. Financial institutions, government ministries, and central banks around the region are taking a great interest in these innovations out of Fiji. At UNDP, we see so much potential for digital technologies to open up access to financial services and drive down the costs. It can ensure that money reaches the people it should reach in a more timely, more transparent and accountable way. All these initiatives rest on partnerships which bring together leadership, expertise, experience, and yes, funding. In each of the cases I've cited, there have been multiple players across government, private sector, development partners, civil society organisations. It's the partnerships which have made the innovation and the success possible. At UNDP, we firmly believe that by partnering and leveraging the world's current digital transformation, financial inclusion and inclusive growth can be significantly advanced. And later in this session, we will be hearing from leaders in the field on how they see digital technology driving greater financial inclusion. I think the Better Than Cash Alliance is an exciting example of the potential of such partnerships, and we're proud to be part of it at UNDP. It has the financial support of founding partners, including the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Citigroup, Ford Foundation, Omidyar Network, USAID and Visa, and with additional funding from MasterCard. So it's bringing together governments, private sector, development organisations to promote the shift from cash to electronic payments. To date, 6 countries and 10 development organisations, including UNDP, have made commitments under the Better Than Cash initiative to push significant volumes of money through electronic payments. Again, a number of our partners are here today and they'll be sharing their experiences with us. So, in conclusion, big opportunities exist to promote financial inclusion through new technologies, and through that to drive that inclusive and sustainable growth the world needs. And I hope today's event will strengthen the partnerships around this so that we can make even more of the opportunities. Now, it's my pleasant duty to introduce our next speaker. And our next speaker is Her Majesty Queen Maxima of the Netherlands, acting for a number of years now in her previous capacity as Crown Princess and now as Queen of the Netherlands as the Secretary-General's Special Advocate for Inclusive Finance for Development. Queen Maxima is a very active global voice on the importance of inclusive finance for development and achieving economic goals. She's been a leader and a champion on this for years. Her role, designated by the Secretary-General, goes back to 2009, and in that role she encourages universal access for people and enterprises at a reasonable cost to a wide range of financial services provided by responsible institutions. Queen Maxima works in partnership with stakeholders globally, raising awareness, encouraging leadership, fostering action, drawing on experiences from her country visits and her conversations with the poorest families, small business owners, the policymakers, to identify which financial services and policies could really make a difference for people's lives and livelihoods. Queen Maxima is honorary patron of the G20 Global Partnership for Financial Inclusion these past 2 years, and has also championed it in her own country, particularly in the areas of financial literacy and education. Queen Maxima, we're so privileged to have you with us today, and please come and address the audience. Thank you.